In 12 months, in 1 year, from a standing start, we sold 3 million phones. And we actually just passed our first quarter ever where we sold over 1 million phones in 1 quarter. And this is primarily an e-commerce business, right? So these are all phones that we sell online. So we've been growing at an astonishing pace. I think if you look at just 2015, 45% quarter-over-quarter growth, right? And the demand for Xiaomi products in India is really amazing. It's well above our expectations. So it's been going really, really well so far.
Now you're also building out the e-commerce business, which is, this is what makes Xiaomi a really different kind of company, makes your business model different. So tell me about that.
Yeah, so exactly. We are an e-commerce company, we're an internet company, and we're an online brand in India. Almost every single smartphone that we sell there is sold online. And we've been selling through various different websites, but just 5 months ago we launched our own e-commerce operation in India, which is me.com. It's the same thing we have here in China and in other markets. And we've started selling phones there. In 5 months, without investing $1 in advertising, in paid marketing, we had 10 million visits over the last month. We sell through a mobile app, and we are actually the number 8 app in the Google Play Store ranking, right? And this is in India. And this is, again, without advertising. It's all coming from the demand for smartphones in a market that's going so quickly, where people are accessing the internet, in many cases only from their mobile phones, right? So tremendous demand, and our products are doing well. Our e-commerce business is beginning to thrive in India.
And one of the interesting things you're seeing in India is that people are actually buying new phones on a phone, right?
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting thing, right? You want to buy a phone? Well, you go to your phone and you buy a better phone. In fact, if you look at e-commerce traffic and transactions in India, already half, if not more, for some websites, of all the transactions are coming from mobile phones, which is very different from a place like the US, for example, where people do use their phones to kind of shop around for products. But at the end of the day, they end up making that purchase from a PC, right? In India and in China as well, this is very, very different. It's a completely different way of operating a business when mobile is such an important sales channel for you.
And how many of these phones are actually made in India, start to finish?
We started manufacturing in India in August this year, so it's only been a few months. But our most popular model in India, which is called Redmi 2 Prime, is actually manufactured in India, in the state of Andhra Pradesh, where we have a manufacturing facility in partnership with Foxconn. And we've actually branded the phones that are made in India. So every model that we launched that has the word Prime in it is actually manufactured in India.
And why is it significant to have phones made in India versus made in China or made elsewhere?
So a couple of things, actually. First of all, it's supply chain efficiency. By manufacturing locally, we reduce the time, of course, that it takes from making a phone to delivering it to a customer. So, and we're operating a just-in-time business, right? So that's really, really important for us. The economies, of course, of manufacturing locally get better because you shorten the cycle. Of course, there are tax benefits to manufacturing in India as well. But also, there's this really important aspect that Indians really, really latch onto, which is the fact that the product is made in India. The Made in India label is really important for us, and it's actually increased demand for product. It's like people are even more proud to buy that product because it's made locally.
Now, how is the India market different than the China market that you're used to? And I mean, what are you doing to, localize the features of the phones? What are consumers asking for?
So the Indian market is growing, I think, as fast as China was growing 5-7 years ago. And e-commerce is a very important part of that. So how do we localize that e-commerce experience that we've created in China to a market that has a totally different culture? And that's what we've been working on for the past 6 months or so. India has been growing as fast as China was growing 5 or 7 years ago. And localizing the experience, the e-commerce experience, the phone experience, all of that is really, really important. Also, your marketing. What we've done on the e-commerce side is actually really interesting. We've incorporated interesting aspects of Indian culture into our e-commerce business. For example, this week is Diwali. Diwali is both the Christmas and the Black Friday in India all together. So we launched what we call the Diwali with Me campaign. Me is our brand. And we created a special game just for the Indian consumer. That's very quirky, it's very addictive, and it's very Indian in how it's designed. And we had 5 million people play that game, over the course of a week or so. And that brought so much traffic to our e-commerce site, 1 million users a day, which translated into selling in 3 days what would have taken us 2 months to sell, right? All because we were really focused on being as localized as we can with our messaging.
And Tell me about your internet services play, because we've seen Facebook trying to break into India with internet.org, giving people free internet, free basic services, and free Facebook. What are you guys doing with your phones in India when it comes to the internet?
So we are an internet company, and a lot of the work that we do here in China is to build internet services on top of the operating system that makes people's lives easier, more fun, and so on. And we've brought that same model, that same philosophy to India. So in India, what we're trying to do to start with is, what are some key problems that we can solve with the mobile phone, problems that people have in their daily lives? One of them is data charges. It's very expensive, relatively speaking, to consume mobile data in India. So we've incorporated technology from a partner called Opera Software into the core of our operating system that compresses all of the traffic into and out of your phone by up to 50%. So basically it means it's cheaper for you to use your phone. That's only available on our phones. Another thing that we did is we solved a really interesting problem. In India, everyone accesses services like your mobile phone bill or your insurance company by phone, using those phone menus. Press 1 for this, press 2 for this, press 3 for that. It's called IVR. And what we did in India was we created a special service that shows the options that you would listen to on the phone on your screen. Okay. So instead of listening and pressing the right button, you just quickly choose on your screen. Right? So it makes people's life so much easier. So small things like that are what begins to differentiate us as a brand in India.